Hey guys, it's Fraser here from RugbyStrengthAndConditioning.com, strength and conditioning coach for the Dumbbell Bears, and today I'm going to share with you my 5 worst exercises. These are exercises that don't find their way into any of my programs. 1, because they might be dangerous and cause injury, or 2, they're just super ineffective. Now, full disclosure, exercise prescription is just one part of program design, and there might be one exercise that is super inappropriate and dangerous for one person, but it is actually really good for another person. Case in point, let's look at Jack. Now, here at the Rugby Club, we use overhead squats, we use snatch variations, we use drop snatches to work on power, mobility, and shoulder stability. Now, these are great exercises that you can overload. Here's Tom and Amy, our number 9 and number 10, going through some drop snatches, getting their hips nice and low, catching the barbell stacked over the hip, really open through the thoracic and challenging their shoulder stability. If they're uncomfortable, they can just bail the bar at the back or the front. This isn't something I would give to Jack to challenge his shoulder stability or musculature of the upper back. There are lots of other exercises that I would give to him because he is limited in his ankle mobility. And that's because he's had surgery to specifically limit his ankle mobility. So it's not a case of let's get his ankle mobility in place and do lots of ankle mobility drills and then get him overhead squatting. No, the important thing is that he's a rugby player. He has the range that he needs to run and be comfortable, and that's great. And if we want to challenge his shoulder stability or various other attributes, we can do that without prescribing snatch and overhead work. So you can see that one exercise that is amazing for a certain group of athletes just isn't appropriate for somebody else. But guys, as I mentioned, I think there are 5 exercises that should just not be in your program, so I'm going to give you alternatives for them. Without further ado, let's go. So the first exercise is the upright row. People do this exercise to build muscle in the trapezius, but what they don't know is they're putting their shoulder in a very vulnerable position with the wrist lower than the elbow, and that's actually where we test for shoulder impingement. So doing this once or twice in a top up you might get away with, but if you're doing this week in, week out, and you're following progressive overload, you're just taking a risk that isn't necessary to train the traps. So guys, instead of doing upright rows, try these 2 alternatives. Number 1 for working the traps is dumbbell shrugs with a pause. Take a neutral grip, lean slightly forward, and have your shoulders come up and back at the same time, pausing for 2 seconds and squeezing. So you're getting retraction and elevation, squeezing as hard as you can before coming back down. This is a really safe option for the shoulder, and you can overload it just like any other exercise. Now, another way we develop big traps is being consistent with athletic movements that are really heavy. So any clean variations, whether it's clean pulls, whether it's mid-thigh pull, power shrugs, cleans, because with cleans, you take your hands out to shoulder width or slightly wider. You do go through internal to external rotation, but in the moment that you're traveling through the internal to external rotation, the bar is weightless because you've done all the work with your lower body and you're doing a really aggressive shrug to get that barbell moving before you turn it over. So obviously it's amazing for developing power in athletes, but because you're having to shrug aggressively every rep, and you do this week in, week out, month on month, year on year, you end up developing a really strong set of traps. And there's 100 other exercises you can do for the traps, but those would be my 2 go-tos if you don't have them in your program already. So staying with the upper body, another exercise that I never program is lying dumbbell chest flies. This is because I think there's more effective ways if you're trying to target and grow your chest. And people often complain of shoulder irritation after doing this for a while because they think they're getting a nice stretch through the pecs, when actually they're placing stress on the anterior shoulder and through the shoulder capsule, which is something we want to avoid. So in terms of developing a stronger and bigger chest, it's great to do the basic exercises such as barbell bench press, full range of motion, dumbbell bench press, full range of motion, incline as well, fantastic. And if you've done both of those exercises in a session, you're already going to have a good pump through the chest. But if you really want to isolate it after, then I recommend standing band flies. Now, the bands are great because they work with your natural strength curve. So when you're extended out, there's less resistance, and as you pull and get that concentric, there's more resistance. When you're standing, you're also in a better angle, and you can do this with cables as well. However, you won't get the benefits of the bands. And when you're doing it with cables or bands, try and cross over a little bit and really squeeze that final position to maximize the movement. Again, this isn't an exercise I would prescribe all year round, but it is a better alternative than lying dumbbell chest flies, and it might be appropriate if you're in the GROW program. In fact, I've got it for 3 weeks in my GROW program, so there are times when you can bring in this type of movement rather than the dumbbell lying chest flies. So guys, another chest exercise, the dumbbell chest press, but using a gym ball, is one of the worst exercises you can do. And I still see people doing this in the gym, or even coaches prescribing it to athletes. Now remember, every exercise must have a rationale, and the reason we're doing dumbbell chest presses is to get strong through the upper body in the pressing pattern, or to hypertrophy the upper body, to build muscle. The rationale that often comes with using the gym ball is you get more core stability or core activation, or some sort of core term is thrown out there. But guys, there's two reasons I don't program this. So reason number one is if you just use a solid bench, you can maximize force production, so you can use more weight, which is what we want to do in the gym. In a safe way, we want to maximize stability and produce as much force as we can over sets and reps or whatever we program. So by using a standard bench press, we can use more weight, we don't have to worry about instability, and we can get stronger on the pressing pattern or be in a better position to grow the muscles. If the argument is around core stability or whatever, then there are so many different exercises you can use to train your trunk that would be better than this. Now, I'm all for hybrid exercises as well, where your trunk is involved in rotation or anti-rotation, or you're doing something for coordination, but not at the sacrifice of building strength. So I think this is one exercise you should avoid if you're trying to get stronger or a bigger chest, or even if you're trying to train your trunk. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. The second reason I really don't like this exercise or prescribe it is because I don't trust the gym balls. Now in the instructions you'll get the capacity of whatever it is, so this ball can hold 200 kilograms or 150 kilograms, but I just don't trust people going on the ball that are strong with dumbbells over a period of time. You know, if the ball can hold 150 kilograms, if you're a 100 kilogram rugby player and you've got 25 and 25 each side, then you're already at the limit. Now take that over, you know, a year. Does it still have the durability as it did on day one? I don't think so. I don't trust it. I don't want to even go there. It's just a risk that I don't need to take. Let's use a bench press and train the trunk in another safer way. Sticking with the theme of unstable surface training for healthy athletes is just completely useless. So again, we're in the gym to develop our force expression capabilities. We're trying to get as strong as possible, or as fast as possible, or as powerful as possible, or improve our lean muscle mass. All of these things are limited if we start using unstable surfaces. So doing squats or lunges or whatever on BOSUs are just not a good idea, because we want a stable surface so that we can express as much force as we can, as quickly as we can. Now, if you're a rehabbing athlete and you're coming back from a lower limb injury, maybe it's an ankle thing, then absolutely unstable surface training is appropriate for a period of time, and you get the benefits of strengthening the ankle and proprioception, and you get that with unstable surface training for a period of time. But once you've cleared that part of your rehabilitation, then it's time to get back on a solid ground, because that's what you play your sport on, whether it's a field or a court. So guys, the fifth and final exercise on this list is basically any exercise you do with speed ladders, or maybe where you are, they're called agility ladders. Guys, if we're trying to develop speed, we need to work on our stride length or our stride frequency. The speed ladders don't help with either. If we want to work on our agility, we're looking at acceleration, so horizontal force production. We want to work on deceleration, our ability to turn on the brakes and stop, so strength training. And then we're looking at propulsion and change of direction. So the agility ladders or speed ladders do none of that. An alternative would be resisted sled sprints to help with your acceleration, which we do a lot of. And to work on the change of direction element, you can do a super simple drill like this box drill, where there's acceleration, deceleration, change of direction. And if you want to train agility, you need some sort of reactive element. So whether that's putting players against each other, doing one-on-ones or two-on-ones, or using coaching cues at the last minute when players need to cut, these are all going to help develop agility. There are two reasons why you would use agility ladders, and you change the title to coordination ladder. So this might be really appropriate for young kids just figuring out where their limbs are in space and working on their coordination through various different drills. It also might be perfect for rehabbing athletes that need to recondition their tissue and get some extensive plyometrics in. So various little drills, various little hops, jumps, run-throughs could be really good for those two categories of athletes. However, if you're a healthy athlete trying to get faster and more agile, these ladders won't help you with that. They might make it into the occasional warm-up in our group, just to change things up a little bit in the warm-up, but they certainly won't be the thing that makes us faster and more agile. So guys, let me know in the comment section if you disagree with me on this list of worst exercises, and let me know if I've missed one which you think I should have included. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!